Now we're going to show an image on the screen. The symbol itself, you'll see the Odwirafo, which is a soul washer, and they call the Okrakonmuade. Sometimes that's the title of the golden disc and so forth that has the symbolism representative of the Okra, the soul. Sometimes they simply call it the Okrakonmuade and so forth, but you'll see that around the, it's on a necklace around the neck, hanging right over the heart and so forth, and you'll see that we wear this symbol. Just like you have that solar disc, representative of the soul, the divine consciousness, on the body is directly over the heart. So you have the soul, the divine consciousness, regulating the desires that you have in your heart. Are those desires in harmony with divine order? If they are, then you engage in that activity. If you have a desire to engage in certain work, certain activities, certain entrepreneurship, certain relationships and so forth, if those desires are in alignment with divine order and your divine function, then of course you engage in those activities. If they are out of alignment, then you disincline yourself and disengage yourself from those activities. Symbolically, that solar disc right over the heart and so forth is the soul, the divine consciousness, regulating the desires so you can execute your function in the world, align every thought, every intention, every action, every moment of every day with divine order. And if we make mistakes, legitimate mistakes, we engage the ritual process to ritually incorporate divine law and ritually restore divine balance. That is the essence of African ancestral religion, as we said in the previous broadcast, the ritual incorporation of divine law, the ritual restoration of divine balance. We incorporate those things, objects, deeds, and entities we need to incorporate in order to align our thoughts, intentions, and actions with divine order, and we reject those things, objects, deeds, and entities we need to reject, to hate, to repel, in order to restore balance to our thoughts, intentions, and actions. So these are the expansive and contractive poles of ancestral religion. So you have this solar disc representative of the Kra, and it has a force that helps to regulate the heart itself and so forth. So it's not just symbolic, it's also a talismanic structure, what we call sumain in the Akan tradition, infused with energy of the Okra, the divinity that governs the Okra, so it can affect your spiritual heart. So that's where you see the symbolism. One thing that's very important that we build on from the previous session, you see that it's a golden disc. Now that golden disc is important. Why is it a golden disc? Sika in the Akan language is the term for gold. In Akan cosmology, and the same thing in the Hoodoo tradition, in Hoodoo, when we talk about the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, and these are the two balancing points of the day, also the spring equinox, the balancing point of the year, the autumn equinox, the balancing point of the year, when the sun sets and goes into the quote-unquote underworld and penetrates the earth and so forth, and brings that solar energy into the underworld and so forth. We've always recognized that as that solar energy penetrating Asase Afua, the fertile earth mother, and Asase Ya, the barren earth mother, the two twin earth mother divinities. Now, gold itself is a physical manifestation of that divine golden solar light manifest within and taking up residence within earth. Gold is concretized solar energy. So it's a sacred metal. Gold never spoils. You have gold that you find and so forth in ancient Kemet thousands of years ago, and it's still just as pure and so forth as it was then. So it doesn't rust and so forth. So we always recognize gold to be representative of the concretization of solar energy. So when you see the golden disc, representative of the divine consciousness, the soul, Okra, you see it in the gold form. It carries that solar fire energy that enlivens, enlightens, illuminates, and so forth. It is representative of the concretization of the solar orb. So then we go back to our Akan Cosmogram, the Per Ankh-Nut, and we show the four positions of the sun and so forth, the yellow, red, white, black, and the different phases of energy throughout the day, throughout the year. We talked about the different ritual practitioners, Odwirafo, Odusinfo, Odutofo, Odumafo, and so forth. We went into some detail about that. This is all related to the solar disk, the positions of the sun, governing every aspect of the day, every aspect of the year, every aspect of the expansion and contraction of our life force energy and its different manifestations and how it manifests in our temperament and so forth. All those things are associated with that solar energy, and the gold disc represents that solar energy and manifests and concretizes that solar energy, that light within us. Now, we also talked about the equilateral cross structure of this sacred symbol. Of course, physiologically, it's representative of the two hemispheres of the cerebral cortex, the cerebrum, and the two hemispheres of the cerebellum. And together, that fourfold structure regulates every aspect of your life. Of course, the original manifestation of that cross in the form of an anthropomorphic form and deity form. You see the Akuaba doll on the feminine side. That is the original cross structure. And when you see in the anthropomorphic form and so forth, and when you look at our book, Ankh, the origin of the term yoga, Kara Kasa, the origin and nature of the chakra, first and foremost, we show etymologically and cosmologically that the terms yoga and chakra come from the terms yonk and yoka and yonka and ankh and so forth, and kara kara in ancient Kemet, thousands of years before the existence of Hinduism and Buddhism and so forth. So we go into detail about that, but we also show the relationship between the Akuaba doll, and we'll show that on the screen, as well as the Ankh. You have Ankhs that are male as well as female, just like you have the Akua figures that are male as well as female. Some of the Ankhs simply are a loop with the cross structure, but then some of them are anthropomorphized. You have Ankhs with arms and legs, hands and feet and so forth. That same structure, the Ankh structure, was preserved in the Akan tradition for thousands of years, all the way to this day. The Hoodoo doll baby in the Hoodoo tradition, we show in our article on the Hoodoo doll baby, is the Ankh structure. It is the Akuaba doll, it is the Ankh structure. So that's the original anthropomorphic manifestation of that sacred cross structure, preserved in our traditions from ancient Khanid and Kemet, Nubian Egypt, through West Africa, Africa, Ghana and Ivory Coast, and the ancient Akan empires, into North America as the Hoodoo doll baby. And when you look at Akuaba, that is the doll baby. Notice you hear about voodoo dolls, Wanga dolls, and so forth, the Juju dolls. When it comes to Hoodoo, they're Hoodoo doll babies. That's the Akuaba. And Akan Oba means offspring, child, quote unquote baby. Nkua, plural, Akua, singular means doll. So Akuaba, what they call the fertility doll, is called Akuaba. That is the doll baby, literally, in literal translation. So, now there's a direct connection between that, the solar disk, the different phases of the sun, the phases of our life force energy and so forth, ritual healing, the sacred colors associated with sacred minerals and so forth, and this notion of what is the Gofa doctor and Gofa dust.